Except for a nightcap. Chill, you know, kick back.
Welcome to the Nightcap. It's your girl, Carolina Sanchez. And this Black History Month, we're celebrating Black excellence. We have ladies here who are boss babes. They're CEOs, they're founders. But how was their journey to getting to that spot? Let's chat with them. And here to share the good, the bad, and the ugly on how they got to where they are is Taquiela Wright, Maggie Noel, Jasmine Terry, and Trese Green. Now, you guys are really some boss babes. Founders, CEOs, you guys do it all. Y'all killing it.
Yeah.
How was it to get to where you are? that exhale tells me everything. Tell me about your companies.
What I do is cut and sew. I am the founder of a luxury lingerie brand called Delisa Rose, and we cut and sew all of our pieces here in the U.S. currently. So learning how to do production within the USA on lingerie was the hard part for me. So I think the first year for me was just tough understanding the fashion business, coming from oil and gas to now fashion industry as a designer, and then lingerie. The bra is the hardest thing to make. We have so many cups.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
So, you know, and you have to understand what goes into making a bra. Wire, strap, eye hook. There's so many different things that creates a bra for us ladies, right? So that was difficult. You know, it wasn't just, okay, I'm gonna design and we produce it.
You had to learn a whole bunch of things.
The whole scope. But I'm telling you, as an engineer, it did help.
Having the background.
Absolutely, it did help a lot, yeah.
And ladies, how was y'all's journey, Maggie?
Like Taquiela, I came from a completely different field. Before doing permanent makeup, I was a professional golfer.
Yeah.
So to go from
y'all's turns here.
To go from, you know, my life being on the golf course every single day, all I knew was tan line, sunblock, golf balls, golf clubs, and that was it. Permanent makeup actually fell into my lap from having a conversation with one of my golf students who had just recently had her microblading done. And so it quickly went from a golf lesson to, let's talk about these eyebrows, sis, because they look great and I need to know who, where, how, when, because like most women, our eyebrows aren't perfect. So we could always use a little bit more help. Even though golf was life, I always had a natural like desire and interest for beauty and makeup and enhancements. And so it was a very easy conversation for me and her. And so from getting mine done the first time and seeing that change that it did for me in that instant, it kind of piqued the interest into wanting to learn how to do it. So getting into permanent makeup initially was just a hobby, just something to do for mom, cousins, friends, you know, just keeping it very right here. But that right here turned into here and turned into here and turned into here. And now we're one of the biggest permanent makeup companies in the South. And so there's a lot of trial and error. And in permanent makeup, you ain't got a lot of room for error. So sadly, you know, there were some errors and I learned a lot. So Jasmine actually, we blessed Jasmine's eyebrows once upon a time. Several years ago.
It was really good. And like them, my story is, my journey is trusting the pivot, right? Trusting the journey. I come from a property management and finance background. And I just decided that I've always had this entrepreneurial spirit, even as a child to a teen, and, you know, finishing school and getting into banking and development. And I decided I don't want to do this. You know, it just doesn't feel well to me. The products that I'm selling, you know, I realize that I'm the prize, right? And if I can get people to transfer $250,000 to me in this banking role, what can I do for myself, right? So after that, I decided something real small. I started a cleaning company, honestly, as basic as a cleaning company, because I wanted to create cash flow for myself and then venture out to other things. The goal was to do that for anywhere from maybe a year or so. Actually, did it for 6 months. Hired a team and we did really well. And I opened a jazz bar in Houston. That was my goal. Where I created a safe space for creatives to perform. We do live jazz and burlesque shows. And I wanted a space for African Americans to connect, to network, you know. So I created that, was located in 3rd Ward, Houston, which was Le Chateau, Houston. I created. And COVID sunk me. Stabbed me a couple times. But what you were saying about the journey is, I complain a lot. Like, oh, it's nowhere to go in Houston. I don't want to go to the club. I want to, you know, network. Let me just create it. So, you know, to trust myself blindly, to walk into the space, which is a predominantly male era of having a liquor license and owning a bar, right? At the time, I was a little more younger too. So, you know, I died the first year. I was like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? Right?
Yep.
And to be honest, to be able to do that and to flow the way that I did. And now I can go into any bar, any space, and I know what it is that I need, right? And then from there, I have stress eczema. I've always had stress eczema where I'll get these little patches, Maggie Noel. She'll be like, stop scratching. So I was like, you know what? I have a downtime in COVID. I took full advantage of these cheap price range to travel the world. I ended up going to Tanzania, Africa. I had the base product for Holistic Roots, which is a skincare for people that have like dermatitis and psoriasis. And I wanted ingredients that were, you know, outsourcing. You know, I couldn't find quality. I wanted really good quality products for adults and kids. I went to Tanzania for a little while and I sourced ingredients, right? I wanted things that were pure, like the baobab tree. I formulated my product, have found suppliers there, and I actually source here in Houston.
Wow.
I mean, as far as, you know, putting my products together, hired a chemist who helped me do my concoctions. And with that, you know, that's been a journey. So not only coming from a bar to a wellness journey, you know, so again, leading what I started with, like trusting your pivot. So right now, Le Chateau Houston, Maggie actually had one of her engagement events at my space. Is an event space. We're located right near the Toyota Center, right across from the Toyota Center right now. So instead of me operating in stress and trying to do daily operations, I want a creative space where people can come host their events. We make sure the place is functional and great for you. And we close up and we bring in the next. So it's still, you know, within that direction, but, you know, it works for me. So.
Yeah, I love these pivot journeys. All right, when we come back, we still have to hear from Trese and more about how they're dealing with their community and whether they were celebrated, whether they were hated on, and, you know, the nitty gritty, because we got to get into it. So stick around. Welcome back. We've been talking to some boss babes up in here. We've talked with Taquiela, we've talked with Maggie, and we've talked with Jasmine. But Trese, you've been on the show, so we know about Port Intentions, but let us know how it was getting to your business.
Well, I've always worked in bars, and I worked for a very well-known franchise restaurant, and I was extremely comfortable. I was happy. I had a good schedule. I was able to work around taking care of my kids and everything. And God works in mysterious ways. So I had a son that had got diagnosed with cancer. And I went to my general manager and I was like, hey, you know, just if you guys will work around, because I have a really huge schedule now. And I don't really know how I'm going to do it, but if you guys would just support me, no problem. It was great for about 6 months. And then I had one day they called and they were like, hey, you got to get to the hospital right now. Okay. I walked to the manager with no problem. Hey, got to go. I did this. I did that. Everything's good. I called somebody. He was like, no, you can't. So that instant feeling of having to choose between my family and my career made me stand still and go, you know what? I don't know what's going to happen next, but I just asked God to watch my steps. So I sent out emails to my regulars. I'd been there 8 years. I said, if you guys need anything, if you're having anything, give me a call. I'll bartend, you know, for this rate or whatnot. Well, I woke up the next morning and I had 2 months of bookings of people who just knew my situation. And they were regulars who knew what was going on. And I was like, oh, okay, great. I can work on Saturdays and Sundays and still do what I need to do.
Right.
I still felt unpurposed. I still was trying to figure out what exactly my passion was. And I'm a firm believer, if you get a vision and you get that idea, you got it for a reason. So I decided to go and get my LLC, go and get my DBA. And now we run as a nonprofit organization where we give back 25% of every one of our bookings to another family within our community with a child fighting cancer.
Wow.
So I grew. I started off small. I was fine in Houston. Then I started getting contacted by other bartenders.
Wow.
So now we have a New Orleans office. Now I'm in Miami. Now I'm in Philly. So I'm like, okay, this works. But I have the foundations where I'm giving single moms, dads trying to make it, young college students the opportunity to work for a career outside of what they're doing and what their main focus is. And I just go day by day. It's been hard because when you work for a company and a corporation and you follow their rules and their guidelines for so long, it's encrypted in you, right? But when you have to do it all yourself, I was like, okay, wait, I need this permit for what? Okay, wait, I need to have this for what?
Yeah.
And then now with me changing and expanding with different states, each state has different liquor laws.
Requirement.
Yeah.
Okay, so now
you're-
it's like
you're
connecting
learning
the dots
Stuff every day.
Oh, yeah.
every day. And if I'm not learning something, then I stay up until I do.
Yeah.
Because I feel that's the only way I'll grow and be as successful as I want to be.
These ladies have all the wisdom. So stick around because they've got more coming up. Welcome back to the Nightcap. We have some Black boss babes up in here who are sharing their story and their journey into being the founders and CEOs that they are. So as far as the community and people that you bring along for their journey or you go to, has it been difficult?
When I first started my business, one of my cousins was actually one of my first artists on my team. And eventually we got to the point where I had to let her go. So to have that tough conversation was so hard. And I think that was like the first thing as a business owner that I had to like deal with, having that real conversation, like, cousin, you know, I love you, but you know, we might have to go separate directions in terms of working here, but I will see you at Thanksgiving dinner and I love you. So I hope you don't take it personal.
Are y'all good?
We're good. This was several years ago. But in that moment, the reason why I had her on the team was because I thought it was a good idea.
Right.
I didn't know any better that, hey, you shouldn't mix family and close friends with business. And so I thought it was like, oh, cool, let me bring my cousin on. This should be easy. But I realized that she's a part of your team and your brand that could hurt or not hurt your business. And if she does hurt your business, it is what it is. And you just have to let them go.
For me, I would say on the friends and family, you know, it's the one thing everyone wants a discount. When your friends or family, like they want you to actually give them cheaper rates. And it's fine, right? Like there's a friends and family rate, but then it goes aboard where people want everything free.
Oh, no.
I want free things, right? So if you're renting the space, oh, my cousin owns this bar and lounge, you know, I can just use her space, you know, or, you know, I'm having my reception for my wedding, so I'll just use your space. Okay, well, these are my numbers. Well, wait. This is your, what's my rate? You know, so that's the hardship in it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some flex and bend, but this is still a business. You wouldn't go to, you know, the Hilton and to discuss their ballroom to say, hey, I need a discount. You know, so
definitely.
I feel that me learning in this journey is that the support of family, your immediate support is not your friends and family.
Yeah.
It's really not, because you know, it's a lot of the people that you don't know, you know, that are not going to negotiate and they're going to honor your pricing, right? So honor my pricing is important because I'm a business.
Right.
If I give you out of a bottle, and she's going to piggyback on this, you know, if I make $200 out of a bottle, but you only want to pay me
what the bottle's
worth. What the bottle's worth, where do I have to pay?
Where's your profit?
You know, out of, you know, when I think about even in the bar industry or business, how many drinks do I need to sell in order to keep these lights on?
Exactly.
How many drinks do I need to sell
Numbers.
to pay my staff? And so that's why it's always important for numbers. So if I'm giving you the discount, I'm eating the cost, right?
Yeah.
So I would say I would wish that friends and family could appreciate, you know,
Oh, girl,
owning your own business,
Right.
you know, to do that. So that's really important because your friends and family are not
And
typically
they're
going to be the ones
always
to support
asking
you.
for support.
Yeah.
You know, I have a lot of family do ask me for to pay this, pay that, 'cause they, you know, but they don't never
It's not
understand what
reciprocated,
it takes. It costs to be where I'm at.
I didn't have a problem with the asking for the free. My problem was when I reinforce or I'm acting as the owner and I'm telling you, today these are your goals and this is what I need you to target, and right now I need you to follow up on all these leads, and you're like, but Trese, what? Like,
Oh my gosh.
they wanted the
back and
pay
forth
and the
with them.
commission, but are hanging out and not wanting to put in the time.
They wanted to be buddy
I
with
was
you.
creating an ambiance to where it was a comfortable work environment, but I was failing because we weren't being successful,
Oh my
because I was trying to make you good.
Right.
To where at the very end of the day, I was like, this isn't cutting it. So I've went through some very painful cutoffs, but I mean, I had an office manager, I adored her. But your vision is not my vision.
Right.
And I have to learn
love
that.
that.
You know,
Your
I've
vision's
had
not my vision.
bartenders in whom were great, but this isn't you bartending on your own. You're a representation of me and my brand.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so
And I think everyone, it's a thing that everyone knows the owner. Oh, I know Maggie.
Oh, no, you
They
don't.
name drop.
Then you go, so I made it my duty
It's
because
hilarious.
I know a
Yes.
lot of people, and I literally in my business I was a bartender, I was the cook, I had so many hats, right? But then there were times, can you go get Jasmine? I know the owner, you know. So it was like an expectation for you to give a round of drinks because it's your birthday, or you want to do this because it's that, you know. So I was just like, you know, this is not okay.
I just
you
don't
know.
want you
So
to expect it.
I think
Right.
owning a business, you do, and that goes back to what you're saying about boundaries. You want to make sure that you set clear boundaries with your friends. Hey, I do offer 10% maybe for friends and family, but it doesn't exceed that, you know, because these are my margins, these are my numbers, you know. So
and that's always
that's the
rolled up
thing.
into the margin. Is,
Yeah.
is that 10% because you do
it's
want to give
already
back,
accounted for.
but you can't go no more than that.
Can't go, sis.
Sorry.
And show up to work on time. Respect the business,
Respect
you
the
know.
business.
Respect me, but respect the business also. So that's the thing.
Respect yourself.
Respect yourself, respect the business, respect what's getting done. All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back. We've been talking to some boss babes up in here about their journey into owning their businesses. But before we go, I wanted to talk to you about what you've learned on this journey, right? So anything that you guys would do differently if you had to do it again?
I would definitely say for me, I would be cautious of who and how many people are on my team.
I thought that was.
I think that's so important. I had people on my team that didn't need to be placed there in the beginning. Learning and understanding your business and the scope of works first will drive who needs to be on the team. Who's your most important person? Who's the person that's going to be an asset and not, you know, someone a liability,
deterrent.
right? So I think that was one of the things that kind of hurt me in an initial phase.
I would say if I could have done anything differently was get into the beauty industry a lot sooner.
You're like, man, this girl should have been on a golf trip with me.
When I got into the beauty industry, I was like, what took me? Why am I just now getting here? Because after I've seen what women were sacrificing and what we as women do to stay pretty and to, you know, I remember calling my nail lady like, listen, I don't have the COVID. Can you please do my nails? Like the extent that we go to as women to feel pretty and to feel, you know, this is what we do for ourselves. It's self-love. And not only that, but we spend the money on it.
Absolutely. And you're like, damn, why am I not profiting off of this?
So the only regret is not getting into the beauty industry sooner.
Yeah.
Jasmine?
For me, I would say do your numbers. You know, when I first opened, I had this long list of inventory and, you know, looking at all these things that just look great, but it didn't fit in budget. You know, to really focus on budgeting, get a consultant, someone that can help you fight in your finance area to crunch your numbers.
Right.
What makes sense, you know, off of a bottle, how much can I make, right? I went in with my eyes closed and I know that's my magic. And that's how I work, and it works for me. But I wouldn't tell that for someone else,
Gotcha.
right?
Yeah.
So focusing on your numbers is really important.
Have a business plan.
Have a business plan. Even if you don't really, there's so many tools online that you can use that can actually help you create a business plan or what your budget is. You know, do that. Do your
And be
numbers.
prepared when it doesn't work.
Yes, that's
Is that it? Be prepared when it doesn't work?
I'm going to piggyback on everything that they basically said. I started off seeing the money and started pulling in friends. And my main mistake was to make sure that I was true to my plan and true to my where I wanted myself to go. That I needed to succeed and put everything completely in a steady foundation before I was like, okay, sis, okay, bro, okay. You know, because I had 45 bartenders in 3 months here to where payroll was killing me and I wasn't seeing a revenue. So then when I had to cut ties respectfully, based on performance value, it then was a big light in my face. Like, okay, I'm no longer the friendly bartender who everybody knows. Now I need to provide for how you're gonna feed your family.
Right.
You know, I'm responsible for how we're gonna all grow together.
Yeah.
So it was hiring the staff. It was seeing the money and why I didn't do this sooner. It was, hey, I have my business plan intact. So why am I not sticking to it?
Right.
I realize that emotions and business don't really
You
connect.
gotta set
But we're
boundaries.
working
The
too.
emotions are keep the friends, emotions
gotta
out.
set
Honestly,
boundaries in
emotions
business.
in business. There's no emotions in business, right? And you know, for me, I'm realizing there's a difference between being kind and nice. Naturally, I'm a kind person.
Yeah.
But once I begin to be nice, then I'm not being kind to myself because I'm being nice just to please you or just to do
Absolutely.
things. So
And then
in
I suffer.
business, until I suffer. So in business, and I don't know if it's because it's this liquor industry, but it really toughened my skin. Like, hey, it doesn't work for me. I can't do this. I can't do it. You know, and be okay with that.
And be
people
okay
will,
with it.
yeah,
you don't
people
have
be
a second
okay,
thought. Like,
right?
I've just told this person no. 2 years ago, I probably would have never done that.
Right.
I would have been so vulnerable
With a
and
straight
so feeling
face.
bad.
Yeah. You know, I'm sorry, ma'am, if you ate all the shrimp on the plate
Okay.
or you drank all the alcohol.
They
you
drink
gotta
all the
pay
alcohol.
for
You gotta
it.
pay
You
for
know,
it.
so it's that thing, and it's a, you know, but emotions and business don't mix. That's what I would
Well,
say.
thank you so much, ladies. I mean, the
Yeah.
wisdom you guys have imparted, I wish
Yeah.
y'all all that success. And I hope you at home learned a lot from these ladies because they're killing it. And if you want to kill it, take that advice. Be cutthroat, take the emotions out of it, keep that business plan. We'll see you next time. That was awesome.
Missed out on the nightcap? Well, head on over to our YouTube page and catch up with Carolina.
You can watch full episodes anytime you want. And don't forget to share it with your friends because we got to keep the conversation flowing.
So this one is not going to hurt as much as this one.
Watch the nightcap at 11:30 on Fox 26 and anytime on Fox Soul.